So let me change to the callers. We're going to get to all of you in a minute here. I have an amazing story I want to bring to you first. And Kelly is here to help me bring this to you. It's a report with Kelly on 2018 U.S. Open Women's Final this past Saturday. It is mind-blowing. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
All is well. How was your weekend?
It was a great weekend.
Oh, good. That's nice. Joel had one, too.
Right on.
It's going to take all week for Joel to recuperate. So this thing on Saturday is open for women's final. It's a tennis game, right? Championship.
Yes. So there are 4 major tournaments for both men and women. And this is the one that takes place in the United States. This is the U.S. Open.
And Kelly, you were at one time a tennis star.
I don't know about star, but I've played tennis most of my life.
Right.
Largely thanks to my dad, who has been a tennis pro his whole life.
Yeah.
And so I played competitively in juniors. I played Division I college tennis. And I actually teach tennis today a little bit as well. I have a tennis family. Both of my older brothers played.
Yeah.
A lot of tennis happening.
Amazing. I remember when your brother were playing, they were really good, too.
Yes.
Amazing, especially Doug.
Yes.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. And so because of that, we have an expert here to explain to us what happened over the weekend. Kelly is the expert today. So tell us what happened, and let's get to it.
All right. So we're focusing on the women's final, which ended up being very newsworthy. You had Serena Williams gunning for her 24th major championship, going up against basically a rookie, a young woman named Naomi Osaka, only 20 years old. She actually was born in Japan. She has dual citizenship here.
Oh, okay.
She's biracial. Her mother is Japanese. Her father is Haitian.
All right.
So she's half black, half Japanese. So they were going up against each other. And basically, Osaka won the first set 6-2 in 34 minutes. So she's halfway to the championship in 34 minutes, which is very quick.
Yes.
She's absolutely outplaying Serena.
How old is Serena, do you know?
I want to say 36.
Amazing.
James can back me up on that. Keep in mind, she had a baby just a year ago.
Oh, okay.
So
right.
she's still bouncing back from that.
James says yes, 36.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, James. Okay, so the story really starts with the drama, which started in the second game of the second set. Serena was up 1-0 after losing the first, and she was down 40-15 in that game when she received a code violation warning from the chair umpire, Carlos Ramos. And this code violation was for coaching. Her coach supposedly was coaching her from the sidelines. And this came apparently as a major shock to Serena when she received this warning. We actually have some sound.
So before we play that,
yes.
let me just ask, and I was discussing this with James this morning. So a coach is not allowed to coach from the sideline while the game is happening?
That's a great question. So for women's tennis and men's tennis in the majors, you are not allowed to coach at all from the sidelines. But, however, for women's tennis, in many other circumstances, like the coach is actually allowed to come on the court and coach them on the breaks. But so it's not unheard of for women to be coached by their coaches on the tour. However, in the majors, in the Grand Slams, you're not allowed to coach from the sidelines, inside language, in any way, shape, or form.
And this coach was doing that with Serena.
He actually was. So there's actually video of him kind of like pushing his hands forward and doing motions like that. And we can get to this later. But her coach is named Patrick Mouratoglou. I hope I'm not butchering the last name, but he actually admitted to it to Pam Shriver afterwards. We can go into that later.
All right. Here's the first soundbite.
Yeah.
Carlos Ramos in the chair.
If he gives me a thumbs up, he's telling me to come on. We don't have any code, and I know you don't know that, and I understand why you may have thought that was coaching, but I'm telling you it's not. I don't cheat to win. I'd rather lose. I'm just letting you know.
Amazing.
So she approached the chair. This umpire, Carlos Ramos, is very well respected, has a great reputation on the tour. So anyways, that was in the second game. And then on that changeover, so in the changeover, both players sit down on the sidelines and they're right next to the umpire chair, right? So Serena engages the umpire in conversation. She says, just know I've never cheated, blah, blah, blah. She kind of goes into it. I don't cheat. We don't have signals, that kind of a thing. And then at 2-all, she loses her serve to go down 3-2. She's not happy, Serena. Not happy about that at all. She cracks her racket frame on the court. She smashes a racket.
Oh, amazing.
So we have some footage of that.
Osaka.
Serena will need a new frame. Smash that one.
Wow. She didn't like that.
Did not like that. By the way, we got all these sound bites from ESPN.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So let me just ask. So Serena yelling at the coach saying that I don't cheat. I'd rather quit than cheat. And then we find out later she's lying about cheating, right?
So here's the thing. It's possible that she wasn't looking at her coach.
Oh,
it's possible that she wasn't actively receiving this coaching. And her coach said everybody on the tour coaches. He even said the opposing players' coach was coaching. I don't know if that's true.
Right.
I have heard the coaching happens all the time on the sidelines. It does. You're not supposed to. But anyway, we don't know if she was actually looking at him.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, she cracked her racket frame. That's a very cut and dry code violation.
Really?
So, absolutely.
That's a no-no.
Right. So there's a progression here. The first offense of a code violation, no matter what it is a warning. The second offense is a point penalty. So for that, being the second offense, Serena receives a point penalty. So the next point goes to Naomi Osaka.
And so point mean that if let's say she has 10 points already, right? That means she lose one and now she only has 9. And your opponent get that point?
It kind of moves forward in the opposite direction. So basically you start from exactly where you are. So in that moment, she was down 3-2. So in tennis, like each game kind of starts over. So the game score is 3-2, but within the next game, it's like 0-0 or love-love. And so basically Serena's opponent had 1 point in that new game, and Serena had no points. So she started love 15. The other girl was up 1 point.
All right.
So Serena was not happy about being called on the point penalty. So she approaches the chair again, the umpire, and you can see that in the next soundbite.
This is unbelievable. Every time I play here, I have problems. What? Yeah, that's a warning. I didn't get coaching. I didn't get coaching. You need to make an announcement that I didn't get coaching. I don't cheat. I didn't get coaching. How can you say that? You owe me an apology. You owe me an apology. I have never cheated in my life. I have a daughter and I stand what's right for her and I've never cheated. And you owe me an apology. You will never do it again.
Wow. He should have said goodbye.
So he kind of did. I mean, he actually, honestly, he stood pretty strong on this stuff. But so you can see she's getting very upset there.
Yeah.
I mean, cracking your racket is a very clear code violation. But her point was, no, that should be a warning. That's my first offense because I wasn't being coached. That was basically her argument.
Right.
She's getting very emotional over it.
You say that again.
So anyway, next thing we know, her opponent, Osaka, goes up 4-3 in the second, meaning she's only 2 games away from winning the title. And so on this changeover, yes, Serena decides to engage the umpire again. So
this is amazing.
she really goes on and on and on. We don't actually have audio of this, but she said, "You're attacking my character. It's wrong for you to attack my character. You'll never be on another one of my courts again as long as you live as an
That's
umpire."
what she said?
Yeah, he'll never ump another one of her matches, basically. She basically demanded an apology. She said, say you're sorry. So like, here's this position. He's in this position of authority, right? And she won't respect his authority. So anyways, at the end of her little spiel against him, and he's being pretty non-reactive, kind of just standing by what he said. He says, she calls him a liar. She's like,
Amazing.
I wasn't cheating. You're a liar, basically. And she said, you stole a point from me. You're a thief, too.
Wow.
And once she calls him a thief, that's verbal abuse. So he says code violation, verbal abuse, game penalty. She loses a game, which is what you get for the third offense. So now she's not down 4-3, she's down 5-3.
Amazing. I'm going to have to hold Kelly over to play that final soundbite. This is so amazing. The anger of the black woman. The anger of the black female. Back in a moment. So this is the final soundbite. This is Serena tell the tournament referee that men do the same thing?
Yes. A little background here. So remember, she had just gotten a game penalty, which is a big deal, right? She was down 4-3. Now she's down 5-3. Osaka's only one game from the title. And so once Serena realizes that she's been called for a game penalty, she immediately asks for the tournament referee, Brian Early, who comes out with the WTA supervisor, Donna Kelso, and she engages them. So we have sound of that.
This has happened to me too many times. This is not fair. This is not fair. But to give me a point to lose a game for what we're saying, that is not fair. I mean, it's really not. But you know how many other men do things that are, I don't think they do much worse than that. This is not fair. There's a lot of men out here that have said a lot of things, and because they're men, that doesn't happen to them.
Wow. There's a lot of men.
So she's basically turning it into a sexism thing, right? And this is kind of like her last push, like her last attempt to make this argument. You know, it's interesting. She didn't go with the race thing. She went with the sexism thing.
Right.
But also keep in mind that her opponent is half black. So perhaps she couldn't go with the race thing.
Point.
She did have a male umpire, right?
Right.
So that's another reason that maybe she feels that's valid. But I will tell you, she mentioned in one of the earlier clips, she's had issues a lot before at the U.S. Open, right? Both of those, the most prominent issues, 2009, she was playing Kim Clijsters in the semifinals. In 2011, in the final, she had issues, and they were both with female officials.
Yeah.
One was a chair umpire, one was a lines judge. And Serena got pretty mean to them, to be honest. Pretty mean. So there's a little bit of a track record there, and she can't say it's always a woman thing. So that was her argument.
And even if men do that, or whatever happened, it doesn't make it right that she did it.
True. Very super valid point. I also want to mention that Chris Evert, a very well-respected player and also commentator on this match, you know, she was asked by her fellow commentator, hey, is it true that men do much worse stuff? She's like, you know, I have seen men do worse stuff, but not on the third penalty, right? So they'll do something like curse or whatever, and or smash a racket or two, and they'll get a warning, right? And then they kind of stop or reel it back in. But you don't typically see someone do something this bad on the third time, right? So that was the issue for Serena.
Why does she want this so badly that she's whining and acting this way? Why is this so important to her?
My theory is she's trying to be kind of this superwoman, right? So she just had a baby a year ago.
Is she married?
She's married. I think she got married maybe right after or around when she had the baby, something like that. Maybe when she was pregnant. But I think that she's trying to be this kind of modern, I can do it all kind of woman, where she has the baby and then she comes back and she surpasses her previous moment of greatness. So I really think she's putting a lot of pressure on herself to do that.
Wow.
I do think possibly the emotions of that played into this. I think she's worked really, really hard to get back to where she is. It's not easy to try to become a top athlete again after having a baby.
I am woman, hear me roar.
Exactly.
I know she's been promoted a lot lately by the social justice warriors.
Yes.
For some reason.
And don't forget, she's tight, close friends with Beyonce.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
So who's another woman who's kind of that way, like, oh, I just had a baby, I'm going to go, take over the world again.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Anyways, the game penalty still stood. So she was still down 5-3, pretty upset. Goes out there, wins the next game, so she's just down 5-4. And then Osaka ends up winning the next game to win the title, 6-2, 6-4. So I will say the aftermath of this, the crowd was basically with Serena the whole time.
Really?
Right? She's creating this huge scene, and they want to be behind her. The U.S. Open is very it's very driven by who you're a fan of, and Serena's been a fixture there for just years. So they were behind her, and she's putting on this show and kind of manipulating the emotions of everyone involved, making it look like, she's just having the worst injustice ever. So they were pretty much behind her. And it's really pretty sad because Naomi Osaka worked really, really hard. She played incredibly. Like, she was wiping the floor with Serena in a lot of ways in the first set. She really earned this match,
right.
and how well, and also for everything that Serena was doing to distract from the match, she kept her cool and brought it back every time. Just played it really impressively. So it's pretty sad. Like, during the trophy ceremony, she was kind of crying. She was hiding her eyes, and she's saying, to the crowd, I know that you really wanted to see Serena win and you were rooting for her, but just thank you for watching me. And she was just very humble about it. And I think the whole crowd totally flipped in that moment. It was like, oh, we're so mean that we were just blindly cheering for Serena the whole time when this girl, like, she should be having her moment. This was her first Grand Slam final and her first win. She's only 20 years old. She handled it so well. So that was sort of something that you could really see during the trophy ceremony. The crowd was initially booing during the ceremony.
Amazing. Naomi turned pro when she was 14. Serena turned pro when she was 14.
Quite possibly.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Oh, that's Naomi there, huh?
Yes, that's Naomi
Oh,
Osaka.
okay. All right.
So anyway, the aftermath, Serena was fined $17,000. Shortly after the match, her coach, Patrick Mouratoglou, admitted to commentator Pam Shriver that he was coaching. He said everyone coaches.
Wow.
Serena had said that he wasn't coaching. And they have an interesting history, by the way. Her coach. So they were allegedly dating, reportedly, for a while there, and he reportedly left his wife to have this affair with Serena, and he had kids as well. So, and they were reportedly together, apart, and now they're apart romantically because obviously she's married.
Right.
But he's still coaching her.
That's
so
amazing.
I don't know what that says about their character, but it's worth considering because
and so she was fined $17,000. What happens next for her?
I don't think a lot happens. I think she's just going to keep going for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I see happening. But I don't know. She did get some negative press from this for sure.
What is Venus up to, her sister?
She's still playing.
Oh, okay.
Naomi Osaka actually beat Venus before.
Really?
So now she's beat both Williams sisters.
Yes.
But yeah, Venus was in the crowd cheering her sister on.
An amazing story, Kelly.
It was a very highly, highly unusual U.S. Open women's final.
I saw a couple articles where those radical feminist women were supporting Serena, and they were saying, yeah, that's true. They do treat men better. This is because she was a woman. That's why she's being treated that way. So they're like supporting her in this mess.
And what about Naomi Osaka, a 20-year-old biracial woman, the first woman from Japan to ever win the title? How about, what about her?
Amazing.
Interesting.
Really is. Thank you, Kelly. I absolutely appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Amazing story, folks. Dictionary.com tweeted that Serena is the definition of class after she told people to stop booing her opponent who won. Please. Don't fall for that. Serena's anything but class. I can think of many words to call Serena Williams. Class would not be one.